This is VOA News. I'm David Byrd. President Donald Trump says Guatemala is signing an agreement to restrict asylum applications to the U.S. from Central America. The so-called Safe Third Country Agreement would require migrants, including Salvadorans and Hondurans, who cross into Guatemala on their way to the U.S. to apply for protection in Guatemala instead of at the U.S. border. The president said the agreement would put human traffickers out of business and ease a migration crisis.
We'll protect the rights of those with legitimate claims and will end the widespread abuse of the system and the crippling crisis on our border.
The two countries had been negotiating just such an agreement for months, and Trump threatened Wednesday to place tariffs or other consequences on Guatemala if it didn't reach a deal. Guatemala's constitutional court ruled that such a deal could not be signed without prior approval from the country's Congress, which is on summer recess. Trump told reporters on Friday Guatemala had signed the agreement, but the Guatemalan government did not use the Third Country Agreement term. President Trump is pressing the World Trade Organization to stop designating China and other countries as developing nations, a label that allows them to receive lenient treatment under global trade rules. In a memo Friday, Trump directed U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer to use all available means to get the WTO to stop describing countries as developing if their economies are strong. He said the WTO uses an outdated dichotomy between developed and developing countries that has allowed some WTO members to gain unfair advantages. Trump said that if the U.S. decides the WTO has not made substantial progress, it will unilaterally stop treating those nations as developing countries. This is VOA News. A U.S. military official says Iran test-fired a medium-range missile this week, further escalating tensions in the Persian Gulf. AP's Ben Thomas reports.
The officials say the test was conducted Wednesday within Iran's borders and posed no threat to U.S. forces. But it comes in defiance of Trump administration demands that Iran curtail its weapons program. Iran has responded to stepped-up U.S. economic sanctions with a variety of military moves, and the missile test could be seen as another signal that it's not backing down. Tensions have mounted with Iran after President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the 2015 nuclear accord Iran reached with world powers. Iran has openly exceeded uranium enrichment levels set in the accord and recently seized a British-flagged oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. Ben Thomas, Washington.
North Korea says this week's missile test was meant to send a strong message to its rival South Korea. AP's Charles de Ledesma has details.
The Pyongyang statement explained the testing was meant as what it called a solemn warning over rival South Korea's weapons development and plans to hold military drills with the US. South Korea's military later said that the flight data of the weapon launched Thursday showed similarities to the Russian-made Iskander, a short-range nuclear-capable missile. A North Korean version would likely reach all of South Korea, the South says, and the 28,500 US forces stationed there, and will be hard to intercept. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The House of Representatives is starting a 6-week summer recess without delivering on a top priority of liberal lawmakers, opening impeachment proceedings against President Trump. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
There's been tension between some Democrats who want to move on impeachment and Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who today insisted she's not running out the clock while building a case against the president.
We will proceed when we have what we need to proceed.
As Pelosi defended her approach, she also took no issue with the calls for her to go faster.
Their advocacy for impeachment only gives me leverage.
Still, the impeachment push appeared to lose some steam after former special counsel Robert Mueller's halting testimony this week. Officials here say the nation has moved on. Sagar Meghani at the White House.
Another protest is scheduled for Saturday in Hong Kong after more than 1,000 people staged a sit-in at the Hong Kong airport Friday. The demonstrators and airport staff dressed in black also criticized police response to attacks on pro-democracy protesters. The protests stem from a call to end a now-suspended bill to extradite Hong Kong residents to China for trial. For more, visit our website. I'm David Byrd, VOA News.